What is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Raid Shadow Legends. Today's a super exciting day because we have the collaboration event in game right now. We have the characters that are available in game right now. I want to talk about these. Obviously, there's some stuff that I missed from last video as well. The information was just coming out super rapidly, including the fact that Cassandra from the new faction is going to be the hybrid fusion event. So you can see it's already here. The events will be starting out later today. I'll probably do a separate video about my event, my plans for the event fusion and what I'm going to skip and what I'm not going to skip. Obviously, most of us are going to get FOMO'd into doing this character because they're part of the brand new faction, of course, the Argonites. So this is something that I think that just is going to be useful to have, right? Also, limited time FOMO, all that stuff. You can see them in game here. I'm not going to go over the kit for this character in particular. Well, okay, I guess we can cover it a little bit here. But it's some crazy stuff. So we're going to be covering this, including the other characters who have not been publicly revealed with the until now because they're in game. Of course, the kits of the other three assassins. So before we get started with the rest of the video, though, I do want to remind people that if you haven't started playing Raid yet, what are you waiting for? Download using the now is the best time, right? We got the new the free Ezio chase that's going to be starting. Actually, in fact, I think no, it hasn't started quite yet now, but it will be. Getting Armor the Returned and Ezio later on, of course. And then these three amazing epics to start your journey off. We have Allure, we have Tagore, and Ruella at account level 10, 20, and 30. And don't forget that you can also use a special promo code. This is for the Void Legendary Support Champion to Hanorrak. You use the promo code, I was going to say Demon Slayer, Desert Queen, within the first 48 hours of a brand new account. Okay, let's get started with some of the ones that we have not talked about yet. And I want to, I guess in no particular random order, we have Bayek from Assassin's Creed. Now, I have not played all the games. I don't know which games this is from. The Egypt one, I presume. Now, all of the Assassin's characters have this passive, which is why you probably see two passives on every single assassin. Basically, they're pinging when an enemy's HP drops below 25% and it does additional damage. And the more assassins, they're basically all piling on to do this damage. Now, going a bit backwards, Bayek's passive. So he is a Void legendary champion. So this guy is probably going to be the Leo of the Turtles collab, right? This champion and their allies cannot receive critical hits from enemies whose accuracy is equal to or lower than their own. So, okay, interesting, right? And it's not even just the assassins, right? Any allies. So you want Bayek to have higher accuracy, but it says from enemies whose accuracy is equal to or lower than their own. So I guess it has to do that math, between the enemy and each of your allies. I'm assuming it's not just targeting based on Bayek's accuracy, but there you go. That's pretty interesting as well. Both in PvP as well too, right? Like if you just have high accuracy on your characters, then they're not going to get critted. So that's pretty interesting. Prayer of the Medjay. On a cooldown of 4 with books. Place 50% accuracy buff on all allies for 2 turns. Places a perfect veil. Okay, so now we know where all the assassins are getting their perfect veil buffs because they do need that. They get more functionality with having perfect veil. And a 60% increased defense buff for on all allies except this champion. So no defense up for Bayek. That's unfortunate. Oh no, sorry. No, I should have finished reading. And then he gets his own defense up for 3 turns. And an extra turn. Wow, that's a really good buff. Okay, that's why it's 3 turns, right? Okay, his A2 AoE on a cooldown of 3 places a 50% decrease accuracy buff and a 50% decrease resistance debuff. Places a provoke. This guy's an amazing Hydra champion right here. If the target is under 3 or more, place a provoke for 2 turns. Okay, this guy is going to be an absolute amazing Hydra champion here. So I'm looking forward to that combined with the buffs. Pretty nice in his basic A1 leech for 2 turns and a 20% turn meter increase. Okay. Pretty cheap on the books too. Only needs 8 legendary books to fill that out. Okay, so Bayek, not exactly the Unity champion, but he is the perfect veil, and that is really important for the whole team. Now there should be 2 other ones, including I think one in Bannerlords I saw, which is going to be Edward Kenway. Edward Kenway. Here we go. So this is Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I think I've seen the pictures of the game, right? Okay, so what he's Bannerlords. Now he's got the same. This is the same. Keel Hall. Each hit inflicted by this champion has a 50% chance of placing a 100% ensnared debuff. Now, I got this confused with the Void guy, the Event Dungeon guy. Ensnare is different. Just the enemies cannot fill turn meter. That's what Ensnare does. Whenever this champion kills an enemy, places that on all other enemies for 2 turns. So if he gets the killing shot, okay, decreases their turn meter by 20%. These cannot be resisted for champions under Prevail or Perfect Veil, which again comes back to kind of Bayek a little bit there as well. Champion inflicts 20% more damage against targets under. Didn't it already say that? Decrease. Oh, turn meter by 20%. Okay, got it. That's nice. A3 attacks one enemy before attacking. Places a Perfect Veil a buff on this champion. Okay, so he's got a solo way to get Perfect Veil. Oh, as well as any other assassins on the team for 2 turns. Okay, so there's multiple ways to get Perfect Veil then on this team. Both Edward, Kenway, and Bayak seem to be able to do it. We'll ignore Stone Skin and shields and block damage buffs. Okay, ignoring it. That's good. I hope this is a really powerful single target. Also places a block revive debuff if the target is killed. All right. I hope the modifiers on this is very high. On a cooldown of 3 should be pretty decent. AoE, fan the hammer. AoE, two hit AoE on a cooldown of 3 with books. First hit steals all buffs from all enemies and decreases each enemy's turn meter by 20%. This text is pretty common on a lot of the assassins where they basically don't need accuracy, though, if they have Perfect Veil. The second hit has a 75% chance up to 100 of placing a sleep debuff on all enemies for 1 turn. This debuff will ignore any block debuff buffs if the attack is a critical hit. So, okay, make sure that Edward has a 100% crit build. This effect cannot be This is really amazing. Like, if you build them properly, they don't need accuracy, and you can just go all in on the damage. A1 is a triple hit. Each hit has a 75%, 100% with books, decreasing turn meter by 15%. 25% instead if the attack is. That's a 75% turn meter steal on that basic with him. This is like allure. This is like crazy allure. This effect cannot be resisted if it. Wow. Okay. 75% turn meter on one enemy is a lot, right? Even if it gets halved, that's still 37.5%. That's a lot for an A1. Okay, Edward. Now they all seem to be like attack-based champions, with the exception of Bayek. Now there's one more. I believe he's in Sacred Order as well, and it's going to be where is he? A Basim. Basim. I'm gonna screw this up, so I'm not gonna try. Basim. There you go. The other character, because we know Ezio, and then we know Cassandra, right? Are going to be the other two. Okay, so Masterful Thief. Whenever this champion is attacked, steals 1 random buff from the attacker and transfers 1 random debuff from this champion to the attacker. These effects will ignore Polymorph. Occurs once per skill. Will ignore 25% of a target's resistance when using skills if this champion is under Veil or Perfect Veil. Gonna skip that as usual. Winds of Baghdad. Attacks one enemy for 2 times. Deals 5% more damage for each buff and debuff on this champion, and 5% more damage for each buff and debuff on the target. Okay, interesting. Places a Perfect Veil on him for 3 turns and grants an extra turn. Interesting. This is an attack that grants an extra turn. Normally, it's just buffs and stuff like that that give an extra turn. This is like a free nuke. That is interesting. It's probably not going to hit too hard because it's a free skill. A2, AoE, Up in Smoke on a cooldown of 3. Ignores 15% of the target's defense. Ignores 30 if he's, because everyone's going to be under Perfect Veil. Assuming that you have a couple of these assassins, you're probably most likely having Perfect Veil. 75% chance of placing block active skills up to 100, right? Debuff for 2 turns. Will ignore any block debuffs if this champion is under. So yeah, great. A lot of these characters are ignoring block debuffs. This is huge power creep, guys. Like, this is pretty insane because it's completely ignoring a lot of the buffs that would typically, get in the way. A1, a double attack here. Each hit has a 50% chance of placing a weakened debuff for 2 turns. If this champion is under Veil Perfect Veil, increases up to 100%. And then debuff spread. Okay, only 1 random debuff and placing all enemies is 100% chance under Perfect Veil. So it's only 1 debuff. Could, it's not all of them. For an A1, that would be pretty broken. But yeah, really interesting stuff. A lot of attacker-based champions. I guess that's what they're going for here. Like, the only character that really provides defensive buffs, I think, is Bayek. I think everyone else gives, maybe just self buffs, that kind of stuff. Now, I do want to go back a little bit too, because it should be, there we go, 0 to 1. The Argonauts with Cassandra, who is also an attack-based champion. I just want to go over the kit once again. Blood of Sparta Whenever this champion attacks an enemy, increase this champion's attack by an amount equal to 50% of the target's defense. Whenever an enemy attacks this champion, increase this champion's defense by an amount equal to 50% of the attacker's attack. Okay, so she's going to take less damage, I guess. Right? And she's going to do more damage a little bit to the enemy because of that. Interesting. The A3 on a cooldown of 4 removes all debuffs from it's a full cleanse on her, heals her for 50%, turn meter 50%, attack up, shatter, increase speed. Okay, so it's not a free turn. It's a lot of buffs. Prevents this champion's death and keeps them alive on 1 HP if they're under these buffs. Okay, so she can't die, I guess, before she takes her turn. Or at least prevents it once. A2, the Spear of Leonidas. Attacks one enemy before attacking. Places the decreased... Now that's nice, because it's placing the decreased defense debuff before she attacks. And an HP burn debuff on the target for 3 turns. These debuffs cannot be resisted if Perfect Veil. And places a stun debuff on all enemies for 1 turn if the damage dealt by this skill is more than 50% of their max HP. So I could see this being absolutely amazing in faction crypts when the Argonite stuff comes out, because, yeah, this is probably going to hit really hard, and it cannot be resisted if she's under Perfect Veil. Now, I don't think she actually has a way to give herself Perfect Veil, right? So she's kind of relying on some of the other characters to do that for her, though, which is a little bit unfortunate, but she does have a 19% all battle speed aura, and then a triple attack here. Attack one enemy 6 times if this champion has 50% HP or less. So some sort of like berserker mode. Each hit decreases enemy's turn meter by 7.5% and increases hers by 7.5%. This is pretty crazy and cannot be resisted if under Perfect Veil. Wow, 6 hits. Like that's like 45%, I think. 15, 20, yeah, 45% if you get a 6-hit attack. And then, of course, for her as well. Pretty nice. These characters do a lot of damage. However, the defensive functionality is very limited. So that's a little bit of a concern to me, and especially depending on how many of these champions that you seem to pick up. We're not going to go over the Ezio kit again because we talked about that in a previous video. Bayak, he's like the only character that provides... Perfect Veil reduces the damage that you take, so that's a good thing. And then there's going to be a increased defense buff as well. But I think this is it. As far as like defensive stuff, I guess you have to rely on... I don't even know who gives attack. Does anyone give attack down? I forget, honestly, at this point. I guess Ezio, we could just check it really quick. I know he should be in here somewhere. Yeah, here. Does he do a attack down? Poisons, defense down. No, I don't know if anyone does attack down. I'm not really sure about that. But anyways, Ezio Auditore. Yeah, some really great stuff, right? And then, of course, there was the Knights Revenant event boss, which... is in now? Is he in now? I don't know if it's actually started yet or not, but I mean, that's just... No, it hasn't officially launched yet. But there we go. He is going to be under the Knights Revenant tag. We talked about him in yesterday's video, and should be down Augustine, Font of Augustine. Interesting. That has a new tag up there that just says Event Champion. So, event period, this champion... Okay, interesting. So it is temporary for Assassin's Creed, but he is not a licensed character because he doesn't have the text at the bottom suggesting that. So he is limited time, but he is not an official Assassin's Creed character. We talked about him in yesterday's video, though, so I won't be talking about it again. Let me know what your guys' thoughts. Are you guys excited for this? There's going to be... Oh, sorry. There's one more. There's the fusion guy for the Epic Fusion, right? I guess if you don't complete the fusion. Let's take a look at the Epic Galapo, right? Galapo the Recluse. He's a support character for Lizardman. Let's take a look. AoE A1 with healing this champion. Now, he's healing himself. A2, heal for max HP and turn meter and 25% resistance. Okay, he is an epic though. Revives one ally with 75% HP and 50% turn meter, unkillable, reflect damage, and a passive heals this champion by 25% max HP whenever an ally dies. Whenever this champion dies. Okay, I mean, like, we're gonna have to sacrifice him to get Cassandra anyways. He looks kind of cool though, you know, for a turtle. He's like an old elder sage turtle. But yeah, a lot of healing. With 25% increase, it would have been better if it was 50%. If it was 50%, I would have made a bigger deal about it, but it's not. Okay, now that's everything. Let me know what your thoughts are about these Assassin's Creed characters that are out. We're going to be starting to collect these very soon. Looks like the events have actually just started. We have Gear Hunters are live now, it appears. So you can, depending on when the next tournament goes, though, you might want to wait. The Dragon tournament's starting in 30 minutes. Okay, you can start grinding this as soon as you see the Dragon tournament go live. You can do that and start working on your Cassandra fragments for the epic. We might be doing this in a separate video when we know everything. And then obviously Champion Chase is going to start tomorrow as well. So that's going to be exciting for me because I have a lot of stuff saved up. I have my Lamassu, I have my Marius that I've been waiting to collect. So I'm obviously going to be doing that tomorrow as well. Can't wait. There's going to be another video on that too. Now, before we go, of course, I do want to remind people that if you haven't started playing Raid yet, what are you waiting for? Download using the QR code in the top right hand of the screen. And also to get an Arm of the Return and also these 3 amazing epics, Allure, Tagore, and Ruella at accounts level 10, 20, and 30. And don't forget, you can get this amazing Void Legendary Support Champion Tahanarak by using the promo code Desert Queen within the first 48 hours of a brand new account. That's it for me, everybody, and I will see you guys all on the next video. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll be greatly helping out the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.